Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing why you should plan an adult-only Disney trip, especially if you have younger kids. Now, I share a lot on my channel about taking babies and toddlers to Disney and why you should take them to Disney. I share tips and packing lists and how I set up my stroller, all the things, but there is something really special about just doing an adult-only trip, whether it's a friend or your significant other. Sometimes those adult-only trips are much needed. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button if you enjoy Disney planning content. I share all kinds of tips, money-saving hacks, and Disney vlogs from our latest Disney trips. So I would love for you to stick around and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up as well. It really helps support my channel. And let's go ahead and dive into today's video. All right, the first reason to plan an adult-only trip is that it provides so much more freedom and flexibility. And honestly, this is probably my favorite part of going to Disney with just me and my husband, is that we can go at whatever pace we want to go at. If we want to sleep in and get to the parks a little bit later and then stay out till 1 a.m., we can. If we want to get up at 6 a.m. and be at the park ready to go for rope drop and then head in earlier that night, we totally can. We really can do whatever we want to do, and we can plan the day how we want to plan it. We can go at whatever pace we want to go at. If we want to go just one ride after another, boom, 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 and not slow down all day long, we can do that with just the two of us. Or if we want to just kind of take it really slow and eat around the world showcase and just sit and relax and take in the atmosphere and not feel rushed, we have way more freedom to do that. When we are at Disney with our toddler, a midday break in the room for nap time, 2 hours minimum, is a non-negotiable. And again, when it's just the two of us, we're not locked into that. Again, if we want to go back to the room for a nap, we totally can, but we're more likely to just stay out and find some kind of lounge or do a fun dining experience or hang out and just find a really secluded spot and just sit and relax. And again, we have the freedom to do that. So it really just provides a different way of doing Disney that if you've been taking your kids for years, maybe you're not used to, and it might be kind of nice to experience Disney in that way. So that is the first reason that you should absolutely plan an adult-only Disney trip. This next reason is that you can stay at whatever resort you want to stay at. A lot of times when we are planning our Disney trips, where we stay really revolves around our toddler and what's going to work best for her. How is this space going to accommodate our family the best? What's the location? What are the transportation options? So all of those questions are a factor when it comes to us choosing our resort. But when you're not traveling with your kids, so many more doors open up when it comes to your resort options. For instance, on our last trip, we stayed one night in one of the Tower Studios over at the Riviera. And this is not a room type that we would have been able to stay in if we had been traveling with our 2-year-old. So we were able to stay in a smaller room and save a little bit of money, and it accommodated us perfectly. It was exactly what we needed. We were able to still experience the Riviera, but in a room type that would not have accommodated our 2-year-old. That is a perfect example of how there are so many more options when it comes to just traveling with a friend or your spouse. So another example would be if we're taking our 2-year-old, we're more inclined to look at a 1-bedroom, something that's going to give us that washer and dryer, something that gives us space away from her where we can either put her in a separate area and still be able to spread out a little bit more, especially if you have older kids. Maybe you're thinking you're going to put them on the pull-out sofa in the living room, and then you and your spouse have the bedroom, or whatever the case may be. You know, you're thinking along those lines when you're traveling with your entire family and your kids. So on a trip like that, I'm probably looking at the 1-bedroom options that are near the parks, near Magic Kingdom, Epcot, you know, that have that location, really great transportation options, and they give us the space. They're going to be a little bit more expensive, but again, on an adult-only trip, I'm not having to think that way. All that to say, being able to choose the resort that you want to stay at with no outside factors is a huge perk of an adult-only Disney trip. This next reason to plan an adult-only trip is for those of you who do have little kids like us, that toddler preschool age, but you don't have to think about Ryder Swap. I know it seems silly, but that is a huge perk. When me and my husband are going to Disney, just the two of us, and we get to ride rides together, it is so exciting. There is something so much more fun about going on a ride with someone rather than going on the ride by yourself. I mean, I've done a handful of trips now where I have done Ryder Swap and, I do the ride by myself, or I go in the single rider line, and, it's totally fine and it's no big deal. But of course I would prefer to go on the ride with a friend or with Andy. So this might seem like a small one, but this small reason is just another little perk of that adult-only trip. This next reason to plan an adult-only trip is that you are able to enjoy dining experiences a little bit more. And I could also add that you're able to just dine wherever you want to dine. Maybe you don't do all character meals on this trip, but when it comes to the dining experience itself, I know for me, when we're at a restaurant and we have our 2-year-old with us, my time is spent picking things up off the floor, making sure that she's happy and content, getting activities out of our bag. I'm wiping her mouth, wiping sticky fingers. If you have little kids, you totally get it. I wouldn't necessarily consider those meals relaxing. There's not a lot of lingering and long conversation happening. It just is a very different experience. So when you don't have your kids with you though, let me tell you, it is so enjoyable to be able to have a conversation interruption-free. You're able to stay and linger a little bit longer. You can get that second drink if you want. You're not in a rush to just, run out of the restaurant to get on to the next activity. You're able to enjoy it a little bit more. And same thing with choosing the restaurants that you want to dine at. When we bring our 2-year-old, we're mostly doing character meals because I know that that's what she's gonna enjoy the most, and that's gonna make our dinner or lunch or breakfast the most enjoyable when she has characters to interact with and it's, really sweet and fun. But when it's just me and my husband, we're not really into character meals, just the two of us. If you are, that's great, keep doing it, but that's just not what we enjoy, just the two of us. We're just more inclined to have a more casual sit-down lunch, or we spend a lot of time at lounges. We love sitting up at the bar where we can strike up conversation with cast members and just kind of hang out for as long as we want to hang out. But if we have our 2-year-old with us, we're not able to sit up at the bar and interact with cast members in the same way. So again, it just looks different, and you're able to plan how you want to plan, and you can do whatever dining experiences you want to do. It's just amazing to have a little more flexibility and freedom. And the last reason to plan an adult-only Disney trip is for the pool day. Now, maybe you're not pool people, and that's okay, but we love hanging out at the pool, and I know a lot of you enjoy pool days as well, so I can't not talk about pool time because it's so relaxing to just be at the pool, and you're not chasing around your kids, or you're not, constantly having your eyes on them, like, where are they? Oh my goodness. And you're not spending your entire time in the little kiddie pool section or the play area. You can actually get in the pool and just go for a leisurely swim, or, we were at the Yacht and Beach Club on our last trip for a night, so we had a day at Stormalong Bay, and we spent a half hour in the lazy river and just got to relax. And then we laid out and just, my husband read a book, I got to listen to music. It just is so relaxing and so refreshing to have that time where you're not having to think about anybody else. You're not having to, answer to mom, 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 or, any of that. It is so relaxing to have some pool time. Maybe it is a full pool day, or maybe it's just for a couple hours in the afternoon, but trust me, it is so relaxing when it's this adult-only pool day. It is so nice. All right, well, those are my top 5 reasons why you should absolutely plan an adult-only Disney trip. Let me know down below in the comments if you have ever left your kids behind to do an adult-only Disney trip, or maybe a girl's trip, a guy's trip, whatever it is. If you've done a trip like this, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. So thank you guys again for watching. Again, make sure that you are subscribed if you're not already. I would love for you to stick around for more Disney content, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.